Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Hey Nita, how's it going, honey? How's it going? All right, let me just make sure everything's live and in charge. We're gonna let just a few more people come on into the room here. We'll let the music play for a few minutes. Let the notifications go out. As you guys are coming on in the room, let me know you're here. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to get going and get started here on the teaching. All right. All right. All right. So, for those of you watching the replay, my name is Lisa. This is Heart of Inspiration. Thank you very much for showing up, for being here. At this channel, we help you lead a spirit-led, whole and healed, peaceful and prosperous life. As on Wednesdays, we do have a Wisdom Wednesday. Wisdom Wednesday. And on Wisdom Wednesday, a lot of times I end up sharing things about the lunar aspects, the lunar cycles, what it means for us, how we can tap into this energy. And tonight is not going to be any different. We're going to discuss the full moon that does occur tomorrow. This full moon does come in at 5:29 a.m. Pacific time. So that means 8:29 a.m. Eastern time and 1:29 p.m. over in beautiful London. Okay? So this is yet another, I feel like a broken record sometimes, but this is yet another very significant lunar event. And we're going to have a number of significant lunar events coming up to 2020, very significant energetic happenings all throughout the remainder of this year and on into 2020. 2020 is going to be its own interesting time period, its own interesting year, because if you think we're having a bunch of retrogrades right now, you hang on to your hats, sweetheart, because 2020 is going to be retrograde heaven, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so the remainder of this year, from here forward, actually from July on, really is a time for us to be foundationally building, and a time for us to really just stop pussyfooting around and get down to the business. And as such, we have made available to us a tremendous amount of vibrational, etherical energy that we've not had handed to us before. Basically available to us to tap into. And if you don't get on the train, honey, you're going to miss out. Okay? This is the time we're in. Now, we are coming into the earthly time in September of harvest season, right? There's the beginnings of some harvest right now in August, and then we're going to move further into actual harvest season come September. So let's get into this very significant full moon. Now, before I do, I just want to say up in the corner over there, you're going to see ways to get in touch with me, ways to work with me. Patreon, if you go to patreon.com, I'm Heart of Inspiration, and on the web, my website is heartofinspiration.net. Immediately following this broadcast, there will be a Patreon-only Zoom broadcast where we're going to dive deep in to watch your words. So you can become a Patreon for as little as $5 a month, a Patreon patron, and you get exclusive content like what we're going to do tonight. And it's going to be interactive video chat. Okay. All right, here we go. One thing I want to talk about before we begin to talk about the actual moon itself is that Jupiter on August 11th stationed direct, still at home in Sag. Sagittarius. It's just happy at home. Yeah. But it's stationed direct at the same time Uranus stationed retrograde. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Uranus at this point is in, bear with me, where is Uranus? Uranus looks like it may be at home in Taurus. No. Potentially. Uranus, let me talk about both these planets, these planetary energies. Jupiter is all about, right, big ideas, big plans, big expansion. Jupiter is about expansion of ideas, expansion of money or material things, just expansion, right? You're going to have a lot of, whoa, woo, big ideas, right? And Uranus is kind of on that challenging kind of, yet home life, yet kind of, hey, you know what? It's like rocking the boat a little bit. Okay, it's all about rocking that boat just a little bit. So I want us to pay attention to that energy because that energy is saying expand, but I need you to check it out a little bit more. We're going to get further into that because that's really what this entire full moon cycle is. When we're in a full moon, we're either expanding something, we're either letting something die, we're doing some sort of transformation. Either we're letting something die or we're checking something, right? Or we're checking it out a little bit further. Or we're just kind of like, okay, this is where we're supposed to expand. This is where we're supposed to do. So let me double down. And this is the full moon to double down. This is the full moon to double down on everything. This is a full moon to say, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go forward. But the planetary energies are also saying, baby, can you just lay your foundation down? Happy birthday, Miss Ashley. Happy birthday, dear. We're not going to double. We're got to double down. We can't just we can't quit just because it's getting a little tough. So that Uranus energy is making it a little tough. It's making it a little rough. It's making it a little rocky. It's making it where it might be a little bit more difficult to communicate, or it's making it a little bit more difficult to really put down say, okay, I'm going to put it all on black, so to speak. So this full moon, while we're still in Leo season, right? This full moon, the moon itself is moving into Aquarius, or it's in Aquarius now, I should say. The full moon will occur at 22 degrees and a few minutes of Aquarius. And the sun then is at 22 degrees and a couple of minutes of Leo. So let's examine those two energies first. Leo being a fixed sign. Now understand there's a lot of things going on with a lot of fixed signs right now as well. The fixed signs are kind of ruling the roost right now for this time period, for this session here. The fixed sign of Leo says, I got to be seen. I got to be heard. I want to be on stage. I want to be known. All that, right? Me. Not in a bad way. Still loving. Still caring. Still, I want to be helpful. Still, I want to be loving. Still all of that. Yet it's still about me. And that's okay. Well, Aquarius and Leo is a very right an inward, all about the singular. Aquarius is like we gotta take care of everything for the collective. So how are you relating to the collective while you're speaking your mind about you? So whilst you're speaking your mind about you and you're all about you, we've got this moon in Aquarius and an air fixed sign that's asking us to take an intellectual look at what we're doing. Okay, an intellectual look at what we're doing. I would ask that any moderator that can please put up my website, please put up the Patreon links, and please put up the PayPal and Cash App links as well. Thank you. Now, the sun we stated was in Leo. We also basically have a stellium. And what is a stellium in Leo? A stellium in Leo, a stellium in any sign means we have 3 or more planets inside one sign. So this chart is a tad bit lopsided. I didn't put the chart up because I know most of us don't know how to read it. So, it would look like I was super smart about it. But anyway, we have a stellium. So we have Venus is in Leo right now. And we have Mars in Leo right now. And we have the sun in Leo right now. The sun is considered a planet in astrology. And we have Mercury in Leo, and it is 4 degrees direct. So we're still somewhat in that shadow energy. We'll be in that shadow energy of the retrograde for just about another day or two. However, we have all of those planets in Leo, all in opposition, yes, of the moon in Aquarius. What in the world are we supposed to do with all of that? An opposition really is nothing more than let's put a bigger light on what we've got going on. Let's put a bigger light on that. So we've got Mercury that's direct. Mercury really is not playing any real position. It's not fully square in any way to the moon or anything like that. So it's not necessarily playing a huge oppositional, a huge influence. However, there is yet the influence. So if I'm going to take Mercury and the how we're communicating, right? Mercury is, however, square Uranus that is in retrograde or stationary and about to go into retrograde. So listen, if I look at that, how Mercury is in square to Uranus, and it is somewhat opposing the moon, but it's conjunct all in this stellium with the sun. So bright light being shined down on ourselves and how we're going to express ourselves. Mercury, we're still feeling like, hey, you know what? I really got to speak up about something. So how that's going to play out is you're going to see, if you see things that aren't quite fair in the global scheme of things, right? Primarily in like the house situation, right? In a home type situation. If you're seeing that, anything to do with your materialistic needs, you're going to want to speak up about it. You're finally going to have this gumption to do it, okay? You've also got Venus, which is actually in opposition to the moon because it's close enough to be in opposition to the moon. That means that we're going to take an intellectual thought process to perhaps our love life, an intellectual process to our money, right? We're going to look at that. Again, big ideas, all about us, which it should be. those things that are very important to us, those big ideas, because we do have Jupiter that is sextile to the moon in Aquarius. So we're also, and so that's in a bit of an agreement, right? So we're taking this moon energy in agreement with these big thoughts, and we're like, okay, let me think about this. Let me feel it out, but from a logical standpoint, an Aries standpoint, how is this going to play on a big scale rather than a narrow thought process of just how does it affect me? How does it actually affect my whole life or the whole of my being, rather than has others interact with me? How am I going to interact with others? How does that affect me? So it may be a time where you're really contemplating your personal feelings, your relationships, your friendships, your familial relationships, working relationships, people you're in contract with. Okay, relationships of all types are really highlighted right now. Then you've got Mars in there. Again, it's not that close to have a huge effect, yet we're feeling the effects. So basically, Mars, the agitator, is saying, yeah, I know you got to think about all this, but you know what? It's time to move. And anytime we've got a square, it's time to move. So with Mercury squaring Uranus, it's going to be time to move in a bigger way, right? As far as our home, communicate about things that are very, while they play out on the big stage, they're also very germane to our house. We have the Sun, Venus, Mars, and Mercury, and those are all very individualized energies. So really, if I'm looking at the grand scheme of things, this is saying, what are your individualized plans that you have thus far come up with? What are your individualized ideas that you've thus far come up with? And yes, you're getting some opposition, some oppositional thoughts, maybe a little bit oppositional information, and you've got Uranus out there going, guess what? I'm going to just shake it up a little bit. And so this is really that time where the rubber's meeting the road. This is the time to say, rubber meets the road. Am I going to go forward with this plan or not? And what I'm saying to you is, if you've been working on something and you've got this idea and you know it's meant for you, then by all means, please, don't quit. All this energy really is meant to do is to say it's time to look at your foundations. Because the other thing that's happening is, and that's not on this list, is we have the asteroid Vesta that is in the house of Taurus. Now, Vesta itself is a Roman goddess, I believe. And Vesta was all about hearth and home. All about hearth and home. And it's in Taurus, right? So it's squaring, right? It's squaring all of these other, right? It's saying, hey, guess what? You better look and see how this is all foundationally going to affect your bottom line materialistic endeavors. It's putting a highlight on do the thing that's going to profit you the most at home, so to speak, your own materialistic needs. Or how is it just going to affect you? You have to have a focus on materially. Do you have the proper foundation to build upon to house your big idea? Do you have that? And if you don't have it right now, it may be money, it may not be money, it may be something else. Maybe you need to build a website. Maybe you need to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you need to start taking some classes. Maybe you need to, start finding investors. Maybe you need to get your business plan together. Maybe you need to get your resume on point so you can go on and get another job. Maybe you need to put in applications here and there to do something else. I don't know what it is you may need for your materialistic needs. And whatever the big plans you've had that you need the materialistic needs and the foundation in order to house it. But now you better be darned for sure that you are building the proper foundation. But don't quit. Just because you may have hit a snag in the road, right? A bump in the road, that doesn't mean you should quit. Right now, it's just saying, yes, there's some challenges, but the challenges are actually here for your good, because the challenges are going to make you really take a very hard look at what it is you've had planned. And do you have the proper foundation upon which to build it? Or are there holes, gaps in your foundation? Now, this moon is also called the sturgeon moon, right? So the sturgeon moon is named this moon because the sturgeon fish typically get to swim in and doing their thing in August. So a sturgeon fish that's a very strong fish. The sturgeon fish can live up to 140 years. This is offering us the hope that we can make it, right? Yeah, it's tough right now. Yeah, it was probably a little tough last month, but guess what? We can make it. This sturgeon moon should encourage any of us that are hitting some rough times in their lives. That August full moon is giving us the energy for survival, that we can make it. We are going to be able to, during this moon, because of where Mercury is, also, and how Jupiter has now come in back direct and sextiling the moon, right? It's giving us an opportunity to find our tribe if you haven't already. It's giving you an opportunity to strengthen your tribal connections to other people that hold your same interests or that can support you through it. This is allowing us the ability to connect better with one another, because remember, the moon is in Aquarius. What is Aquarian energy? Aquarian energy is the greater good. It is an intellectual outlook on the greater good. The intellectual energy, so that we will focus on the greater good and how we relate to it. Okay? So if you've yet to find your tribe, hey, I got one right here. Come on and join us if we resonate with you, okay? If you don't feel like this is your tribe, find one. But you find somewhere you fit in, okay? That's going to help support you through this time. Now, the other things I want to talk about, how to make the most of this. You're going to it can be a time of increased emotions and overwhelming feelings. But as full moons are, but this one should not be as overwhelming emotionally, because it is happening in an air sign and in a fixed sign. Okay. This is probably going to be a time, and you've probably already noticed it, that you've been releasing old friendships that maybe aren't serving you anymore. Maybe some of the old ideas and goals that you had, maybe you're releasing them. But you know what? I think also for a lot of us, I know myself over the last few days, there's been some ideas that I had and some goals I had maybe 6, 7 months ago that I put on the back burner that now I've brought back to the forefront. See, that's the other beauty of this full moon being where it is and Uranus kind of being in retrograde and Jupiter coming back direct. Because now it's saying it might not have been time before, but I'm going to disrupt the current energy now so you can see that, yeah, this is a good idea to put that foundation down now. Right? This is a good idea to put the foundation down now. So it could be that there's some old ideas that no longer serve us because we've changed our belief systems and we've changed how we're looking at things from a spiritual nature, because all this time practically we've had Saturn in retrograde along with Neptune in retrograde, both being sextile to one another. So we've had to look at, and Jupiter's been in retrograde for the last 4 months. We've had to really take a big, strong, hard look at our belief systems, how we were operating spiritually, how we took our spirituality, how did we apply it in a material way, how do we apply it in our third dimensional lives. So we've had this time to really examine it. And even if you hadn't before, you still got time now. Examine it and say, hey, is this really still serving me? And so then there's some things in our lives that we've been doing and some goals we've set and so on that no longer fit the narrative, so to speak. No longer fit the narrative. That's the other aspect of Venus being in opposition to an Aquarian moon. We're able to look at our relationships in a very practical manner, not devoid of emotion, but being able to say, yeah, I know I really care about you. I think you're awesome, but you just don't fit into my life anymore as I go forward. Right? As I go forward, you're not fitting into my life anymore. And that's okay, because I'm growing, you're growing, or maybe you're not. So, but because of this, it's kind of shedding that light on it and saying, yeah, maybe not. Maybe there are some things we really, really, really thought we wanted to do, like as far as like a business or a particular career or whatever, and we're going to look at it and say, God, no, I can't do that. That doesn't really work. I thought it was going to work, but it doesn't work. And let me switch up, right? But this thing I thought about 6, 7 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that thing I thought about back then, oh, that's going to work. Now is the time. So now what we need to do is take those and build the foundation upon that. Make sure that you got your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Make sure you're building a sound foundation across the remainder of August and into September. September's full moon most likely is going to be the harvest moon, yeah? And so make sure you're building those foundations, right, as we come into the time of the fall equinox and such in September. Lucky Star, we may get to that, but that might not be what we're discussing tonight. Okay, I see your question. I want to finish this about the Aquarian moon right now. This is also a full moon where, again, it's the continuation of the self-expression, and we're able to express ourselves from our most authentic self. We've had this entire Leo season to be very self-expressive, and now we're at a point where we feel safe doing it. We really do feel safe doing it. And if you don't, push through it, because you should. Feel safe expressing yourself from an authentic self, because if you shove that anger, that frustration down, you know what's going to happen? It's going to carry on into the rest of the year, and you might not have another opportunity. Or if you do, it's going to be a lot harder. Work with the energies. The full moon in Aquarius can be one that feels light, yet it has a certain warmth and dynam- dynamicness to it, with the sun conjunct Venus and Mars, planets of love and passion. So we might see some tempers flare, and we're asked to find a compromise between security and assertion. In other words, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're less secure in your position with an individual just because you assert your needs. We do need to assert our needs. Just do it in from a place of love and not a place of, I can't stand you. You get on my last nerve and you got to go. No, put it from a place of, this is what, this is who you are, this is who I am, and how can we relate? Now, one of the last things I want to talk about with this Sturgeon moon is this. With Jupiter being direct, it is actually squaring Neptune in retrograde. So we have big ideas and expansion. And Neptune is all about, right, that spiritual deep, that imagination, image, and action. That's what Neptunian energy is. It is, they are images, visions, our imagination is our images in that we should be putting into action, right? Be careful though that you don't want to expand it too big too fast. Don't quit, because the energy is here to build foundations. You have Vesta in a T square to the moon with the sun and the stellium and everything that's going on in Leo. It forms this, what they call a T square. It's up here in Taurus, we'll put it that way. We got Leo over here. Well, actually, Taurus here, Leo here, Aquarius down here. It's forming a T square. Now, because of that, because we got the opposition and then the T, because of that, we have to remember, yes, we have to take action, because a square is always asking you to look at, take action in this regard. To me, the asteroid Vesta being in Taurus throughout all of this is asking us to say, yep, that's cool. I love that great big old idea. I love that great big image you want to put into action. And yes, it can grow to something huge. But and put all your words into it, baby. Make it grow. However, again, make sure that the material foundations are there. Make sure that they're there. As you're resurrecting an idea, a desire, a goal that you had perhaps in the recent or long-term past. Don't quit. It's going to be a little rocky right now. People are going to challenge your ideas. They're going to challenge the thought pattern. They're going to challenge your motives a little bit, probably. They're going to challenge, is this really big picture the best thing for you? There's going to be some challenges, and you will probably challenge it yourself, because you're like, it ain't really blossoming the way I thought it was going to blossom, as quickly as I thought it was going to blossom. This is just some bumps. But take that Six of Swords energy and keep on sailing. If you notice that Six of Swords, for those of you that do, most all y'all watching the tarot anyway. So that Six of Swords, right? What does that Six of Swords have? It's this really, usually a very small boat with usually a singular person or maybe one other person in it. But it's a small boat. It ain't a big yacht. It ain't no big gigantic boat with, 20 sails and all of that. And at the forefront of the boat are 6 swords. The back end of the boat has choppy water in it, but it is always sailing towards the sun. Right? It's always sailing towards the sun. It's always sailing towards calmer waters. It's always sailing to a better day. And that's really what the Aquarian is all about. The Aquarian energy, if you see the star card, right, It is this outpouring of blessing and energy and happiness. And it's by the moonlight where you wish upon a star, right? And all of a sudden, you're pouring your little cups into this big, mighty river that's flowing and carrying you and your wishes right on into the horizon where dreams happen, because you never know what's beyond that horizon, right? Dreams happen there. It is wish fulfillment. It's not dampening. It's not saying you can't have it, but you gotta not quit. You gotta not quit. The Sagittarian, the star card energy, is the result of the Temperance card, the Sagittarian energy, where the Sagittarian is being this alchemist and like, how can I get the right concoction to make this thing work? And then by the time you get to the Aquarian energy, it's like, you know what? Guess what? I don't even need to know the right concoction. I'm going to put it all into the universe and all into spirit, and let spirit and the universe make that concoction come to life. So, at the Sturgeon moon, remember, you will make it. You're going to get through this. You can survive. Do not quit. And do not stop speaking out that which you desire. Okay. I'm going to take a couple questions because here shortly, if one of the mods can please put my Patreon back up one more time. At the half hour, we are going to have a Patreon only Zoom conference room meeting, right? A video conference. You guys will get to actually talk back. We can all talk together, and we're going to talk about the power of our words, and don't let our words kill our manifestation, kill our dreams. You can be a patron for as little as $5 a month. There's other options as well. So it's a Patreon only Zoom conference. Okay. And there's already the post up. Y'all can meet me there at the half hour. We're going to continue this conversation, but really dive deep into how we can utilize our words to either bring to life our goals and our dreams and our manifestations, or we can be killing it. Okay? Okay, now. I saw a question earlier, and Lucky Star, if you're still here, Lucky Star 18 says, can you tell me what I need to do to remove negativity on the person I'm interested in? So Lucky Star, I guess I want to ask you this question, love. Is it removing negativity on them? Are they a negative person? Is that what you're saying? That there's some negativity surrounding them? Because if I'm understanding you correctly, they have to make the choice. Now, you can, during conversation, say little things like, oh, you know what? What if we said it like this? Instead of saying, oh, I'm never going to get a new job. Yeah, you will. Let's think about what we can do. What kind of jobs would you really want? Or let's get some positivity here, because if you keep speaking that way, you're right. You're never going to get one. So we can try to encourage them to change the way that they speak over themselves. But at the end of the day, each of us as an individual has to make the choice that we're going to release negativity and live in positivity. That is not something we can do. That's why I don't do the spell thing and all that, right? I don't impose my will on others, and I don't recommend doing that and imposing your will on other people. It always backfires, and the karma you sowing when you do some mess like that, you don't want that back. So we can't change other people. We can do things like I'm doing right now, right? I can present you the information, and and the people that I work with, on a regular basis, we present that, we work with it, we change the words, we change, we help them to raise their vibration. You can encourage them to start doing meditation. We have daily meditation here on the channel every morning now. Um, you can encourage them to come and watch channels like this where we talk about positivity, and we, you know, want people to speak life over themselves and over their worlds. But unfortunately, we can't force anyone to do it. Kelsey, and yes, you can also come to the Zoom as well. Okay, love. So yeah. Now, if there's been some sort of, even if there's been some sort of, we'll say, curse or something put on over somebody, or someone's spoken a lot of negativity into someone else's life, um, we can't break it. Like, they have to be willing to get healed from that. And it bothers us, I know. And I've had to walk away from some people. Well, I would say then, if there's negativity that's keeping you apart, then maybe it's right for you not to be together. We also have to remember everything that you might want to go back and watch the replay here, Lucky Star, if you're not going to come and join us on Patreon. Because this is really all about, we really have to focus on ourselves, right? And examine whether or not these relationships are good for us. At the end of the day, if someone is not helping you evolve, then you should not be involved with them. People need to be putting something into our lives as well, and not just us putting into theirs only. It's the same person. Raina. Okay. Do we have any other questions about the full moon energy that I presented tonight? Because if not, we're going to wrap this one up. I'll wait a few moments because I left the latency a little long. Again, if you guys want to join me in about 15 minutes on Patreon, right? www.patreon.com/Heart of Inspiration. You can join for as little as $5 a month and be a part of the conversation we're having tonight. We do have Patreon only, right, broadcasts, and tonight is one of them. We're going to be talking all about the words, honey. The words, child. I don't know that I believe that. I believe that I don't want to be in. The question is for those watching the replay and not the live chat replay. Lucky Star 18 asked, "Do you believe negativity keeps people apart?" I believe that I do not wish to be in relationship with someone that is constantly negative. I believe that being in a relationship with someone that is constantly negative is toxic to me, because it brings my vibrational set point down. Because I'm always so concerned about helping them raise theirs, when if they don't choose to raise it, or they don't choose to no longer subscribe to whatever ideas are being presented to them that are negative, I can't change that. I'm responsible for me. I can't change you. There's a number of people that are in this chat right now that will tell you, honey, I couldn't change them. They had to come to their own point, right, of healing. And so I don't know that negativity keeps people apart. I think that I love myself enough and I value myself enough. And I hope that you do too, that you do not want to be in a relationship with someone that is constantly negative or has negativity that surrounds them. They need to choose to be out of the negative space. You cannot make that choice for them. It's not your responsibility. Okay. All right, guys. I'll wait for one more of Lucky Star if you have anything else to say, but then I need to wrap this up. All right. I want to thank those of you watching the replay. I really appreciate it. Guys, please like and subscribe, and please share this video. We're growing to 5,000 subscribers. That is our next milestone goal, 5,000 subscribers, and I need you guys to help me do that. When we get to that point, I'm going to have a $250 giveaway to multiple, total 250, to multiple folks that have been very supportive. We're going to come up with some more subscriber giveaways here for September. We're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. So please do share this channel, like and subscribe. I really appreciate it because we want to grow and we want more people to be a part of the tribe. That's awesome, Lucky. Continue to do that. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. I love those daily meditations, guys. I love doing them. We're going to continue to do them. All right, let me wrap this up here. So, again, come over with me to Patreon. For those of you watching the replay and maybe the Patreon has already happened, you can still join on Patreon and watch the replay. This is going to be a wonderful, wonderful discussion on the importance of our words and making sure that we speak life and not death over them. And how can we avoid speaking death over our life? Okay? All right, guys. I love you guys. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. Namaste. Bye-bye, my friends.